Morning. Today we're going to talk about base. My base pretty much doesn't change. I know I need to add a few more things to my skincare before putting makeup on, but for now, the thing I use day in and day out is my Nivea cream. Okay, because it allows for that perfect moisturized feeling on my face. Doesn't let my makeup slip and slide. So just that much. And clean face, Nivea. Now it does have like this white filmy look, but you just massage it in and it goes away. And that's pretty much all the moisturizer I put on. And then of course I do some like Vaseline on my lips. So that's like, while I let the Nivea cream kind of sit on my face, I always go into doing my eyebrows. So I give it like a moment to kind of absorb and do its thing before I go into a foundation. So let your product sit a little bit. Timing is also key to a lot of things here when it comes to your base. So I'm gonna work on eyebrows. Thing I'm gonna do is add my primer. So I use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And I just take a little bit, like that much, and I just put it on my cheeks, my forehead, and my nose. I don't put it anywhere else because, well, you have talking lines from here. You don't want to put it anywhere where you have a lot of like wrinkles naturally from just laughing, talking, whatever. So I only put it on places where there's like porous. So just cheeks, kind of, don't massage it in too much, just, you know, enough to put it over the pores. The next thing I'm going to do while I kind of just let that sit on my face is pick a foundation. I'm going to use my House Labs foundation. The important thing about your products too is to make sure you're not mixing. So make sure that all products are kind of water-based or all products are oil-based. If you mix water and oil, you're going to get separation. So those are some key things to also know about your products. I always use like a flat brush to kind of just move the product around before I go in and really blend it. Never add any foundation under your eyes. You want to keep that reserved for concealer and the least amount of product under there as possible, otherwise it's going to be cakey. Now moving forward, I'm not going to be doing any type of swiping for my makeup. It's going to be all patting motions, and the only utensils that I use, tools that I use for any type of blending are brushes, and then I use the puffs. That's it. I don't use the sponge anymore, just because I feel like it's been like over a year I just not have used a sponge, because I just felt like it wasn't, to each their own, but for me it just moves product around and it doesn't blend very well, so I stopped using it. Very important part, pat everything in. This is a foundation brush by e.l.f. Foundation is on. It's a very light layer. The thing I'm gonna do is go in with my contour. So I'm gonna let the foundation sit a minute, but I'm gonna go in with my contour. So I have my contour stick here. And again, patting motions. Layering your makeup is also very key. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is put my blush on. I go in blush first, and then I do concealer. I'm gonna use my e.l.f. blush in Coral. Put it right above where the contour was put. I put a little bit of blush under my eye just because I have pigmentation. If you don't have pigmentation, just skip that part and just keep your foundation, your blush right here on above your contour area. Now I'm gonna be doing concealer. I'm just gonna place this right here. I don't want to place it directly under my eye because there's creasing there, so it's just gonna kind of, I mean, you have natural wrinkles there, so it's just gonna like cake into that area. So I always bring it down a little bit and blend it in. Use a different concealer, it's your choice, for the rest of my face. I always blend out my outer face before I go into the inside of my face, just so I can let this part kind of dry down a little bit before I start blending. Again, patting motions. And now I'm gonna go in and start blending the under eye. And notice I'm only blending up here. I'm kind of leaving this area alone. Blend it up. You can see it doesn't look blended, but I go back in with my contour brush that I use, which is a little bit of a flat one, and I just kind of get those harsh lines out by patting. See? Same thing on this side. This step now, after all my creams are put on my face, I go in with one spray, one or two couple sprays. I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Oops. And then you just let it dry down with the fan. Everything still looks wet, but it's actually just dry and shiny. So this is the perfect time that we're going to start going in, that all our creams are on. We're going to be doing all powders now. So we're going to be bringing the color back. We're going to be setting all with pressed powders and loose powders. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set our contour, since our contour kind of went on one of the first things after foundation. And to do that, I'm just going to use my Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder and go in all the areas that I put in that contour LYS stick. Making sure everything is dried down is really important, because you're not gonna have that separation if everything is dried down properly. And the setting spray helps dry down everything. Again, we're patting motions. Get some pressed powders for this part of my face, this part of my face, and this part of my face. So I'm just gonna use my MAC pressed powder. Patting motions. So the same thing for the under eyes. Light hands. You can always shake off the excess. Okay, now that you've preset your face, you can go in with a setting powder that is loose powder. I like to preset my face because it helps to make sure everything is dried down and there's no like parts of your face that are still wet, because I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you go in with straight with a loose powder, you get patchiness and then you're like, shoot. So I always kind of preset first because it really helps just make sure everything is on, nothing has moved. I'm going to be using my Huda Beauty setting powder. I'm going to go in around, do the outsides of my face before I do the insides. I'm not picking up a whole lot of product, and I'm making sure it's really kind of blended in there. Now under eye, I do like to do like 2 layers just because of, you know, we have creases under there. So I like to just make sure. Everything is set, nothing is moving anywhere. Like if you've done the steps up to this point correctly, then you should be pretty set. Like nothing on your face is really gonna move. You should not have cakiness, you should not have separation. It should just be it should look like a canvas pretty much. Lost a lot of color, but this is the part now that everything is set, we put it back onto our face as an additional layer. Layers are really, really important in makeup. So this is the part where you can just start adding it back and it pretty much stays for the whole day. I don't have any issue. I do the same steps every single day, and every single day my face looks flawless. I'm going to go back in with my pressed powders. Now this is the part where you can kind of do a little bit of swiping. You should be okay. It's just putting like a little bit of a layer back on. Now I'm gonna go in with a bronzer. So in all the areas that you put your contour, that's where you're gonna put your bronzer back in. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just go under the eye. Now blush, you can add as much as you want or as little as you want. I tend to do 3 on each side. Some people are like, oh, my blush disappears. You're not putting enough. Because throughout the day, it's disappearing. There's my blush. Now what helps the blush not look so intense is your highlight. I use Kiss Highlight, and I put it on my nose, my bridge, and then right above my blush. Okay, so at this point here, you can see all the colors, you can see everything is pretty much added back. The next thing I'm gonna do, this is just my base, my creams, my powders, and my makeup pretty much is done. The only thing I have left to do is spray myself down one more time at the end, and then just put on a lippy and put on my mascara, and I'm good to go. Dry it down. Let me add a lip and mascara and I'll be right back. Okay, there it is. That's it. What I showed you, my routine every morning, my base, my creams, the powders, the whole process, it takes me about 15 minutes, no eyeshadow. So it takes me 15 minutes, 20 minutes, up to 20 minutes max every day to put my makeup on. I do the same steps, timing, layers, patting motions, and I get the same results pretty much every day. I don't have any patchiness. My makeup doesn't separate. So yeah, I mean, I know it seems like a lot of products, a lot of steps, but the more and the more you do it every day, it becomes secondhand. And then after that, you can you're going to start freehanding, you're going to start doing other things. But when it comes to my base, I stay consistent and I get consistent results every day. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.